For all your charts, be sure you add a meaningful title. So that's very important. When you look at the chart, we don't have to actually go back to the data and see what's happening in the chart, but rather we have to look at the chart and understand completely what is depicted. So what is this chart saying? This is the number of computer-related jobs 2016 and 2026. And remember, you have the format, and you can go ahead and choose styles. You can play, all these things over here and see what you like. You can have word art styles if you want. So you'll need to select it, and then you would apply the style. Okay, let me just undo. I like to keep it as clean as possible. Or maybe this is good. Okay, and then you can increase, decrease font. You can even use the home tab, to choose the font and everything from here. And from the format, you can play with all these buttons with effects and the shape effects and so on. Let's move on now to the pie chart. And in the pie chart, you see all these slices. It would be great to have a title, so that would be the new computer related jobs by 2026. Okay, so let's remember what this was. Select data, and those were number of new jobs. Okay, so new jobs by 2026. And let's go ahead now and add labels. You can push the plus sign. You also have over here chart elements, so you can always go there and add what you want. Okay, so let me use the plus over here, and I'm going to data labels, and you can see what happens. So I can go, you see I have on my mouse and it shows me, and I actually would like to add not only the percent but also what's the job title. And then, so let me go with this one. You can also go more options, and when you go more options, you can show from here, okay, I want to add percentage, and I want to use the category name. Okay, and then you can position them, so I can do center, inside end, outside end, or best fit was the default. Okay, if I go with the best fit, then I have to be careful and adjust over here the colors. So let me just go with outside end for the moment to keep it simple. And the next thing I want to do is, I do not need the legend anymore, because we can see the job titles directly on the chart, which is much better. And I can delete this legend. Now I have more room. Let's see the chart elements. If you hover your mouse, it gives you chart area, so you can change that. And if I go here, it gives me plot area, and I can take that element and I can select it and make it bigger. I can, I can format that element. I can double click and get options for it. So this is how you can change. For example, if I want to change the blue slice, I can click only on this slice, and then I can go and choose another field. Okay, which is not something that I want, so let me just undo. Now suppose I want to have a picture for the chart area, so then I double click on the chart area, and I have the fill options here. So I can have a gradient fill, for example, which is something I don't want. Or I can go to the picture, and then I go to insert, and you can take it from a file, from icons, or you can go to online pictures, and I can look here for computer job, and I will choose this picture from here and insert. Now the text is not readable anymore, so I might need to change the font, or I can go to transparency over here and adjust the picture so it's just barely visible. If you want to remove the background, you can just undo, or you can go back here and choose no fill. Okay, so let's play a bit now. Suppose I would like to put a cute picture over here for the blue slice, and you can go to Google Images and you can look for something, and then under the tools you have over here Creative Commons licenses. Otherwise, you have to be careful with the copyright now. And I'm going to select one of the pictures here, so I can just copy the image. You can also go to the image, to have the best resolution. And I can actually click on the on the pie chart, it selects all the slices. Now if I click twice, I can have the blue slice selecting. I can just paste, Ctrl V to paste. And under the fill options on the right here, you can play the offsets. So I can move the picture if I want, and I can move it from here too. Okay, it doesn't look so cool, so maybe you need to go and have the picture situated more on the right side from the beginning. Okay, so there should be some background, not important, on the left, and then on the right it should be your main character. Okay, but I will just leave it as it is for the moment. You see, it doesn't look so cool because I can already see that the slice continues in all directions. Okay, so I will choose something else. Say I have this image of the polar bear cub, and I copy the image, and then I go back here, and again this slice is selected, and Ctrl V to paste, and now it looks a little bit better. Although you see it's a bit distorted, so you always have to be careful with the images to have them look, you know, as best as possible. Okay, and you can also move it from the bottom as well. The white is pretty cool for this one. Okay, let's move on to the bar chart, and let's have a title. Ctrl A is to select the whole text, projected number of jobs by 2016. Okay, so I have the 2016, the blue, and then we have the addition of new jobs, and sometimes the subtraction of some jobs is for computer programmers. When you hover your mouse over chart styles, you can see how it looks, and we can choose one of the styles here. Okay, if you would like to see data labels, you can choose, for example, this one. If I choose style 2, then I notice that the data labels are not readable. So I might need to move it a bit, and then I can go to the format, and I can choose maybe something from here. Okay. And let me do the same trick here. I can move this guy here, maybe somewhere there, and I can, let me just move these guys first, and then I will try to do something. And I have this one also here. Okay, so if I try now to click on this, and then I can go to this guy here and push F4. F4 repeats the last thing I did. Okay, so I can go there and there. You can also show in thousands the labels, so they are, you know, easier to read. Now I want to move on to the next worksheet. You can also use Control and page down, and I want to select this title over here. I'm going to paste the title, and let me show you the same trick with the pictures. In Google Images, from Tools, I went ahead and I chose over here Icon, and I'm going to scroll down, and I found an icon, and I can copy the image, and then I go to Excel, and I would like on the blue columns over here to paste it, so Ctrl V to paste it. Now let's be sure all the columns are selected, so you would click. If you double click, remember it's only one column, so you might click out of it and click again. You can also right click and format data series. And then I go to the fill option over here. And if I have on my mouse over this, it gives me 24,000. So what I want to do, I want to stack. And if I try stack, it looks like that. It's not that bad. But if you want to go stack and scale with, and you put the number you want, I want to have one picture for 25,000. Okay, so then it will look like that. This is for fun. Whenever you use pictures, you have to be careful. So if you want to have half a cat and make it as readable as possible, that's the point. Make it simple.